Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel, in this channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense, because here we discuss everyday issues and we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. So, for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Okay. Now, as always, I want to start by giving a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel, whether it be from day one or whether it be from this week. I really appreciate all the love and support that all of you have given me. Thank you very much. Also, I want to thank all those who allow me to enter into your devices. And I also want to thank all those who follow me on social media. So, what I'm going to ask you to do is the following. If you have not done so, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell notification to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. Now, before we get into tonight's topic, there's one thing, and I want to make it perfectly clear. The purpose of this stream is not to put to shame my generation, which is the baby boom generation. Okay, there are many of us who have been positive role models for younger generations. However, we have to accept the fact that in every community, there are positive role models and negative role models. So I just want to make that perfectly clear. This is in no way to say that all baby boomers are bad. It just simply highlight some things where we didn't do such a stellar job, particularly when it's pertaining to the younger generations. And I just hope if there's any baby boomers that are currently watching this, either watching this live or on the playback, to please bear that in mind. Okay? And of course, everyone's entitled to their opinions, and you will be given an opportunity to join the platform and to articulate either way whether what I'm saying is correct or false. Okay? I just want to make this perfectly clear. This is not meant to be in anger or rancor. This is just simply to state the facts and to make those times where baby boomers have missed the mark. So I just want that to bear in mind. Also, hopefully we will be blessed with the presence of Denisse Gonzales, who's going to share her point of view as it pertains to the baby boomers. Okay. And let me just explain to you. Okay, thank you. So let me just explain to you what brought this about. Um, partially it had to do with partially had to do with a stream where Denise has said that us baby boomers need to retire and we need to get out of the way of the younger generation, so to speak. Well, you know what? I'm going to let her say her point of view. And some of the things that was said, it didn't resonate well. But upon later reflection, I had to accept the fact that what was being said was truthful. And also I have to accept the fact that baby boomers made mistakes. Okay? And we cannot undo what was done. What we can do is we can admit those areas where we messed up. And what we can do is apologize to the younger generation and do a better job of being a positive role model. And instead of worrying about how the younger generation is going to do things, make sure that they are proper. Make sure that we can lend them our knowledge and our wisdom, with the understanding it's going to be up to them to implement it as they see fit. And it is my personal belief that when we do that, um, the results will be much better. And unfortunately, I'm the only baby boomer here in these YouTube streets, so basically, it's basically up to me to try to how can I say, make amends for mistakes that baby boomers have made, and admitting when you made a mistake. That's half the battle there. So I hope my fellow baby boomers will take it to heart. This is not said in anger. This is said out of love because I am a baby boomer, and the fact of the matter is, the time is coming when I'm going to have to step aside and let the younger generations do their thing. So, that being said, we're going to get into the main topic. So as you can, as you can see in the top and the thumbnail, the topic is where baby boomers got it wrong, part two. And I see here we also have Gigi in the house. Good evening, Gigi. Thank you for stopping by. Oh yes, I understand that Dynamano is live, but you know what? Unfortunately, you can't be everywhere. As okay. I'll try to catch his stream in the playback. So, as you can see by the thumbnail, the topic for tonight is where baby boomers got it wrong, part two. Okay. Now, normally my monologue does not usually doesn't last that long, but I felt there was a few things that needed to be said. Um, as I said before, in every group, there's good people and there's bad people. And baby boomers are no different. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, when you take a look um, in the environment that we were raised in an environment that's totally different from our parents. Okay. Like, for example, my mother and father, both they, both God, may they rest in peace. They grew up during the Depression years, so it was a rough time, particularly them being living in Puerto Rico. So just to give you a review, the baby boomers are those people who are born between 1946 and 1964. So what happened was after World War II, when the war, they started having children, and that's why we got okay. So we grew up in an environment where we experienced a great deal of prosperity, peace. We didn't have to worry too much about how things were. The father worked, the mother stayed home and took care of us, and things of that nature. And we grew up in the 50s and the 60s, and then the later boomers, we grew up in the 70s. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share an article. Um, Oops, that's not what I want to do. Just give me a moment. Okay. This is something that I came across. And basically, what it is, it's an article regarding why. Let's try this again. Why um, the millennials disdain for baby boomers? Okay. And I'm trying to see. Okay. And let me stop this. Okay. Let me stop sharing this. Okay. Let's try this now. Okay. All right. Hey, good evening, Gerby. Thank you very much for stopping by. The topic for tonight is where baby boomers got it wrong, part two. Now, let's see if I can sketch. Okay. Let's see if I can share it now. Okay. Sometimes it takes a while. Okay. I don't know why sugar. I apologize. It's taking. Well, let me just scroll this down. So this I got from the New York Post, and it was written in August 8, 2020. And the article is about why millennials' distaste for baby boomers is justified. Okay. As you can see, there's a group of millennials that's not too happy about baby boomers. So let's see why they're. Oh, Oh boy. Can anyone hear me? I apologize. Oh boy. Okay, let's see if we can. Hello? Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to read because my computer is acting up again and I don't want to like get anymore. Okay, let me just. Okay, so rent has too have climbed. In 1970, the median monthly rent in the United States was a little more than $600 a month. In 2019 dollars, Fitzpatrick writes, by 2019, it more than doubled to $1,300 a month. Well, when boomers were 34 years old, close to half of them owned homes, according to Fitzpatrick. But for millennials at that same age, that figure is only 37%. Okay, let me just put the link in again. In the meanwhile, Philip argues that technology has exacerbated millennial walls. While every generation sees tech advancement over their lifetime, today's changes are more disruptive and pernicious than unifying. While boomers also grew up in an era of rapid technological advancement, the innovations of their time came as with a sense of wonder and optimism. From the dawn of color television to the space race to the invention of the microwave oven, boomer childhoods were marked by advances that promised better futures, and these discoveries are delivered, she writes. Millennials, on the other hand, have seen great promises of digital technology and connection quickly turn sinister. Fipano notes that the promise of a smarter, better informed populace thanks to the internet has been thoroughly dashed as bad actors have exploited these tools for personal gain. We saw increasing bullying, misinformation, and the representation of rhetoric that fuels bigotry, violence, and slaughter, and ethnic cleansing. And despite social media ability to connect us, millennials, the heaviest adult social media users are a lonely generation. 22% of millennials, but just 40% of Gen Xers and 9% of boomers are listed the number of friends they have as zero. While a quarter of the millennials say they don't have a single acquaintance beyond their family member or their partner, not even friends, acquaintances, you have to wonder what's going on. Not even 1 in 10 boomers say the same. As a result, millennials are more likely to suffer depression than older generations. Older millennials may be the most depressed 30 somethings in American history, writes, noting that due to a large incident of drug overdose and suicide, millennials have a mortality rate of 29% higher than Gen Xers at the same age. A Blue Cross and Blue Shield analysis of health data found that we are more significantly more likely to suffer from a major depressive disorder than Gen Xers were in their mid 30s. To compound the problem, millennials are also less likely to be insured. 1 of 5 millennials struggle with major depression, a condition that can shave a decade off one's life, goes without treatment for the public rights. And about 85% of the people that suffer with depression also struggling with at least one serious additional condition, whether it be substance abuse or chronic hypertension or type 2 diabetes or a range of other afflictions. All the millennials report higher rates of substance abuse, blood pressure, Crohn's disease, and colitis, and higher cholesterol than Gen Xers that did the same age. Now, here's something that's very interesting that makes us, that's about the millennials. While millennials may marry later on average, almost 40% of the boomers were were married by age 30. But only 20% of millennials were in unions that were generally more stable than their boomers. If anything really sets boomer marriages apart, is divorce, and they do it a lot for public rights. Over boomers have brought the nation a glut of divorce in the 1970s and a national divorce rate that peaked in 1980. While younger generation Americans divorce less often, boomers are just splitting up with middle and even old age, she writes. Further Palmer claims that the rise of equal rights helped deter divorce among millennials. Millennials have made marriage egalitarian and more stable, she writes. While we're more open to seek love across racial and religious lines, millennials are also the first generation to hit average marriage age with the right to marry a person of any gender. Millennials are also healthier than older generation when it comes to sexual health. According to psychology professor Jean, okay, and I see here my guest is here, so let me just bring her on. Hello.
Hello. I'm sorry if my audio is a little bit choppy. Can you hear
It's
me?
okay. How you doing today?
I am
Yes, I can
good.
hear you.
Okay, I'm good. I'm just here with the baby. How are you doing?
Okay. Oh, how's my cyber? Fine. How's my cyber grandson?
Oh, growing really fast. Growing really fast. I just posted a picture. Like whenever you have the time, go to like my personal IG and go see the new pic. It's super cute.
Okay. Okay. Now, before we go on, I for all the baby boomers, my most sincere apologies for all the times that us baby boomers missed the mark, for all the times that we did not provide a positive role model for, and for all the times that we let you all astray.
I think something, Jose. I think this is a conversation that needs to keep happening, but more than just reminiscing on the past. Because I think like the mistake that we're doing as millennials is that we keep just pointing out just the flaws without bringing any solutions. I think we
Mhm.
can work out solutions for this, right? Like once the problem is identified, okay, what
Yes,
are we going to do? And I think we're failing at that as millennials. Do you agree?
I think so too. And what makes it what makes it difficult? There's not two creators who are baby boomers. So it's me,
Yeah.
and it can be a bit of a challenge. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, and I'm still trying to navigate with all this.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be challenging. I just think like because we have a lot of look previous generations, and I'm pretty sure it will happen with us. Like when my son is like around my age or even like in his 20s, I'm most certainly not going to like what criticism his generation has towards my generation, right? Because that's just normal. The problem is that we have a lot of
Mhm.
elders today that want praise, especially like the ones that are like in the form of parents, right? And you can never mention anything that they did wrong. I know you didn't have biological kids, but you probably had nephews and nieces and stuff. Um, and you probably were like the cool parent because you were the uncle, you know? But there's a lot of us, the product of baby boomers, and I don't know about Gen Xers. From what I've heard, Gen Xers is the same thing. That they're in this ego trip with their kids, right? Like we didn't do anything wrong. You should be grateful because I had it worse. and whatever, and it's just it's a shit show at this point. Like, a lot of us have had to either look for baby boomers like you that are more willing to have the conversation, or just abandon the conversation altogether.
Well, I think one thing we have to do as baby boomers, we're gonna have to be a little bit more open-minded with the younger generations, and we have to be willing to accept newer ways that things can be done. Now, as you know, Denise, as we get older, um, we get more set in our ways, and it could be harder for us to try to adapt. Would you say that's a statement?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think the more people age in general, I can even see it in myself. There's things about me in my 20s that I would have been more flexible with than I am today. And I can only imagine when I'm 60, I'll probably be more set in that, in whatever I believe at the time. So definitely, yeah, like the more, like, unless you're like a very free spirited person that's willing to all the time revisit who you are, which is something that I'm trying to learn, you're going to be very set in who you are. But definitely, I think that's something that older folks my age and further can benefit from. Like, we need to learn how to revisit our beliefs and our behavior and stuff, and just make the proper, like, adjustments, I would say, because mostly you're not going to change like your moral code or your principles, because of course those are your core. But I say, like, things that are related to it, like minor behaviors that are not necessarily good and stuff, like, you're gonna need to adjust those as life goes on. That's what's called, it was called wisdom in the past. Today it's like a very random acquired skill.
Yeah,
Like, even if you look
yeah,
at
and you know what?
yourself, even if you look at yourself last year, like, we would have never been able to have this conversation. So you're already doing the same thing. I'm saying, like, you're already revisiting, hey, can I be wrong in this? And then just go find the answer and say, I might be wrong or I might be right, So look at, that's the perfect example.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm the I don't know whether I be brave enough or foolish enough or maybe a little bit of both. Take a good look. I mean, we can always say that we should have done better in the past. However,
Things,
since we
things that
simply
I,
revisit the past, it's not going to improve the future.
you asked me for things that I believe baby boomers could have done better.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying that we can reflect where we could have done better. But the thing is, we cannot spend the entire time reflecting. What we need to do is to move forward and just be better older people. I mean, I remember take a look at my parents, while they were alive, and when they got into their 80s, of course, they got to the point where there's no way that they're going to change their point of view. So I'm looking at it this way. Well, it's harder for me to adapt.
I can
I
barely hear you. Let me head out and
can
I'll
at least
come
try.
back.
Okay. Okay, let me just put the link. Okay. Oh, come on. This is going to be one of those nights. Okay. Okay. Ah, this is okay. Okay. Well, things like that happen. Can anyone hear me? Okay. Well, first of all, as I was trying to say, that while we have to, while we have to admit where we, okay, let's see if it, okay, okay,
All right, I
okay,
can hear you better now. Yeah, I could barely hear you before. It's right because I'm on my phone,
okay.
so of course it's a little bit worse. So I apologize for that. If it happens again, I will head out and then come back in. Okay, so continue, Jose.
Okay, okay. But as I was saying, this is how I see it. Okay, I'm not going to change my outlook too much. However, I can try to be a little bit more willing to adapt and try to think outside the box.
I think it's more like more than change at this point. I think it's more about solutions at this point. Let's look
Yes.
for solutions. I think we can benefit a lot from that and, and working together
Hmm.
because majority of our relationships, like the relationships between baby boomers and millennials, for the most part, it's parent and child. So repairing that, I think, will be beneficial for both. But then also just finding solutions. Like there's only so much you can pin on your parents when you're our age. Like it's time for you to move past that. Like I think once you're 21, yeah, you gotta accept where your parents mess you up, but you gotta start looking for ways to unfuck yourself. Like, I'm sorry for my French, but that's just the way I see it, right?
Yeah.
And it can take some years, but you gotta find ways. And
Hmm.
it might take a lot of peeling off uh, patterns and thoughts and stuff, but you got to start finding ways to kind of unmess yourself from whatever was wrong. Does that make
Yes.
sense? I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes. I agree. And in fact, I have been undergoing therapy um, for almost a year now, and thanks to therapy, um, I'm better equipped mentally. I do look at things a little bit more differently, and I'm able to see things I couldn't see before. Um, it's just that in my case, dealing with all this stuff that I have to deal with, and it's only now that I feel that I'm a little bit more healthier mental wise than I've been in quite some time.
Yes, I think it all, like I've said before, like I'm a huge advocate for like looking for emotional health assistance. You know that since I started Jose on this platform, that's what I've been telling people. There's a lot of, especially in our community, the Latinos, we need to admit, yes, most of the things that we are taught work because, of course, we're forced constantly to find ways to do stuff we don't want to do. But also, that brings a lot of fucked up things in our brain, especially when we come to the US. Because in here, I don't know what
Yes.
happens to the Latino per se, because I'm no expert on that. Uh, but I think after second generation, something kind of changes. What generation are you?
Um, I'm first generation.
Okay, then it doesn't affect you because you're directly the result of immigrants. But yeah, like I think after second generation, things change drastically, and we lose that resourcefulness. Like life becomes more comfortable for second generation and on. So therefore, people have more time to stupid stuff. It comes the notion. Something that I've noticed about American people. No this to American people, of course, right? There's a lot of positives.
No.
Just pointing out the downsides of it, right? But the concept of teenage
Mhm.
years, which is something that you're supposed to waste your time, like teenage years are capacitation years outside of the US. Okay. Those are the years where you get your first job. You start acquiring skills that are not professional skills, but they're very useful around the house. You're going to use them for life. You start learning how to drive. You're supposed to, put in practice things that you have learned since you're, I don't know, 10 years old. And you start testing out the world. That's what teenage years are for. And you're prepping to build up a future. You start thinking very hard who you're going to be for the rest of your life. In America, teenage years is the decade in which you get to hate your parents, party with your friends, play video games, act stupid, be reckless, listen to punk rock, and hate the world, be an emo, or whatever
And
you
get
want
and
to
get
be.
and get and get pregnant and get
Yeah,
pregnant early.
get high. Some people have reckless sex. Some people smoke marijuana, whatever. Not taking shots of people that smoke marijuana, right? But I don't think teenagers should be doing that. Uh, so yeah, like there's a lot of waste of time here. So how you're never going to be able to catch up
Yeah.
where it's someone that's an immigrant first generation. It doesn't matter from where they come from. Okay, they can come from China, from Japan, from Australia, from whatever, and it's the same thing. So
Yes.
when you see that, you realize the failure of past generations, because even in our countries, like for example, Puerto Rico is not a third world country, but it's a second world country, which is like the in between. It's not quite first world, but it's not all the way down to third world, right? We still have some water, even though the power it's not reliable, right? Neither the internet and whatever, but we still have proper water, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
you can still tell that if you compare me to my grandmother, there's a lot of skills that she had that I don't. Even
Mhm.
though in America, here in the States, I'm considered old school because I have skills that are lost to American girls my age. So that tells you that even though here is in a larger scale, obviously because it's a first world country, even in our countries, there's a lot of impacts that baby boomers had, which is basically they didn't pass down information or skills that are needed for life because they probably thought it was obsolete. So I think now it's just trying to connect the dots, take advantage that baby boomers are still here. They know those skills from the silent generation parents they had, and try to learn them as an old person. If you cannot learn it from them, then outsource it from somebody else, because that's what I do. So that's what I recommend people to do.
Okay. Denise, um, if you could have 5 minutes with a group of baby boomers, other than myself, what would be the main points that you would want us to know?
The what?
If you were able to address a group of baby boomers, what you perceive to be the most important things that we need to know.
Well, I think that for the most part, I think that one thing that's affecting not only us, but I think Gen X is the way baby boomers vote. Okay, I'm not trying to diss baby boomers, but let's keep it real. Majority of baby boomers vote with their feet. Not you, because I know you don't vote like that. But majority vote based on vested interests, let's say, without thinking about how that's going to cost future generations. Like, oh, it's so cute to
Mm-hmm.
have all these nice programs and shit. Let's just vote them in. I'm okay. Then who's going to finance that in perpetuity? Well, the youth, right? So let's just screw
Mm-hmm.
them up. Same thing happened with the housing market. Let's just screw them up. That's why baby boomers could buy a house for $6. Meanwhile, we're out here like what? Like $800,000 for a house in the ghetto. I've seen those prices,
Mm-hmm.
and we refuse to go along with that. That's when you're like I'm better off just renting in a nice area and just living my life, you know. But
Yeah.
uh, there's a lot. I would say that one thing I would say is like learn how to vote for the interests of the youth, and as an exchange, we have to take care of our elders. That's something that we cannot drop the ball on because if they're going to trust us with taking care of them by voting the way that would benefit us, we have to pick up that tab. So it will be like a collective effort. I would say another thing that I believe baby boomers can help us with is uh, finding a solution when it comes to housing. I saw a proposal that I think will benefit America, which is elders living with college students from the same gender. Like, for example, you had an old lady that's living by herself for whatever reason, and she's with a younger lady from college living in the same apartment or the same house. They share and split the cost of everything, and because they both cannot afford it on their own, right? So basically, they're helping the housing market by reducing what will be two apartments to one, right? So there's less demand and more supply. Therefore, the prices of housing ease up a little bit. And there's other areas, and I will never finish pointing them out. But I think that those two are one of the biggest areas that millennials and Gen Z struggle with because baby boomers. And those are two things that are very doable. It doesn't cost a cent.
Okay. Uh, Good evening, Keisha. Question: If I was, if for whatever reason I never get married and I want to share
Let
my
me come
home
back, Jose.
with,
Give me 5 minutes.
huh?
Let me come back. Let me come back
Okay.
because the audio is breaking. Let me come back.
Okay, no problem. Something. What Denise was talking about? That's a good solution, because first of all, it solves two problems. Number one, it solves a problem with an elderly person being alone, and number two, it also helps a younger person to have a place to live, which I think it's a good solution. Now, one question I would like to think about. I don't know if any um, in the event that I never get married and I do feel inclined to share my home with a Gen Z person, would they be willing to share their home with an old fart like me? Okay, and this is something that it's doable, and this is what I was referring to. Okay, we have we have made mistakes, but the thing is, we have to learn how to do better. We have to learn how to you know unscrew ourselves and undo the mistakes that we did, and then make sure that the younger generations are given the opportunity to do their thing. Okay, because let's keep it real. Okay, in a couple of years, I'm gonna be retiring. Okay, so I don't intend, you know, to be in the forefront after my retirement age. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lead an active retirement life. I'm going to see what I can to be helpful in my old age. And again, the whole point is this: it's not just to talk about, where the baby boomers mess up. Okay, let's see what we can do to find solutions. Okay, and one good solution is for us who have homes to share our homes with a Gen Z person, or okay, I don't know what's the generation after Gen Z. I don't know, Alpha, I think. But in any case, it's something that we need to discuss, and I think that's a good solution, and that's something I'm definitely going to think about in the event that for whatever reason I never get married. Okay. Now, one thing we do have to, okay, well, one thing we do need to do better as baby boomers. First of all, we need to share our knowledge and our experiences with the younger generation. Okay. However, we need to do it in a way that's not condescending. We need to do it in a way that's more advisory. We needed to do it in a way that says, okay, look, I would like to show you this. Will you be willing to hear me out? Okay. And I think, now, of course, I do believe that if we approach it in that sense, um, the younger generations would be more receptive. Now, it is a fact, unfortunately, that when it comes to politics, many of us, when we voted, we didn't think about how it affected future generations. Okay, we're just thinking about me first, me second, me third. Okay, and I think Denise is back. Let me just. Okay, oops. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Oh boy, I need to get a new laptop. Okay. Hello?
Hi, I'm back.
Okay. Denise, I have a question.
Shoot.
Let's say in the event that I never get married, um, if I was to offer my place as a place for, like, maybe I don't know, maybe like a Gen Z person, or maybe like I think the next generation is Alpha. Um, would a younger generation have an issue living with me if I would? Do you think they will have an issue?
I don't think so. I mean, you have to select someone that aligns with your values. Like, it will have to be like a young Catholic male that's going to college, because he can learn a great deal from you, and you get to have a lot of company and fun. You get my point? So it would be
Yeah,
like, hey, we split everything here, right? And you don't have
yeah.
to, because I know New York's expensive as hell.
Oh, please tell
So
me about it.
yeah, New York's expensive. So yeah, it's a benefit for both, you know? So yeah, I think, but it has to, like I said, it has to be someone that aligns with your same lifestyle. Like, trying to find a younger you. Get my point?
Yes, I guess I'm much. I guess in your case, I'm much younger me because according to you, I'm old as Methuselah.
No, but I'm not saying like probably like you are 18. You get my point? Trying to go to college, a young Catholic boy, with those same values and visions. Like you're not gonna get like a blue haired transgender woman that's an atheist or believes in angels and candles, right? Because
No.
literally that will last 6 hours. That won't
Now,
last.
now, one thing I would like to now, okay, now let me ask you another question. Now, what are the documents that we are okay? Wow, it's going to be one of those nights. Well, you know what? It's all you know what? It's all good because everyone has technical problems. Okay, but one thing you know what? There's one thing I love to do. Unfortunately, I don't get too much of opportunity is to share my knowledge, share my life experiences with younger generation. And now we have the intro with Rica. Good evening.
Good evening, Don Jose. How you doing? ¿Cómo está?
Muy bien. It's 268 days until the first day of winter.
It needs to be 300 days until the next day of winter. I mean, we're just coming out of a winter, Don Jose. You're gonna be doing this every day. We just came out of a winter. I mean, it's barely spring.
What
Come
we
on now. We're barely in spring. Why you want it to be cold again? Let it be warm. we human beings, we need to be exposed to the sun, to the warmth of the sun. It's healthy for us. I mean, I know that you are a polar bear, you're Mr. Freeze, and you need to be in the cold like that, and you can go on and be with the polar bears and all of that. But no, we human beings, we need to be exposed to the warmth of the sun for our health. I mean, that it's difficult for you to understand. I get it. I get
okay?
it. Well, shout out to the
Well,
chat.
the topic. Well,
Thank you,
the
Chell,
top.
coming up.
Well, topic tonight is yes. The topic for tonight is where baby boomers got it wrong.
Well, I'm not one to pass judgment because basically my beloved mother, who's resting now, she will have been a baby boomer, and there was a generation that did kind of like the generation that came about after the Second World War, which was a time of kind of like rebuilding and trying to go through somewhat of a golden age, the 1950s, and then later on coming into the 1960s when those were revolutionary years. And what happened after that? There was kind of like a time like during the 70s, which was a big party from what I understand. I mean, that was that time when I came to Visit. I cannot say that I lived through that time. But yeah, during the 70s, it was more of a time where it was like a party, and then there was the Cold War, but there were things that changed so radically during those times, that the disaster that was the Vietnam War, and that took the there was a lot of change for the better or worse, and that could do something to
Yes.
kind of like the collective mentality of a generation. So there may have been some good things and other things that could have been better. So I'm not really judging, but I do think about how it must have been during the times of the war in Vietnam, and the proper pushback that was giving about against it. Because I mean, we shouldn't have been an empire. We shouldn't be an empire. We are. the government of the United States is very imperialistic. How it operates in consistently
Ramon,
has been
how
doing
dare you say that of the beloved America?
that. Yeah, no, I live in the South. I'm supposed to be talking about America.
America.
I'm supposed to be
Well,
saying America.
okay.
America is
You're not
always
supposed
funny.
to be the introvert Boricua. You're the introvert American.
Ah, yeah, yeah, the introvert American, not American, no, American.
American.
American, as they say in the South. The ones that are very pro-war, very war horny, the war horny
Yeah,
type.
yeah, definitely. Pro
But
veteran, back the blue, good old American boy.
Yeah, yeah, the flag waiver,
Yeah.
the
You're supposed to have an F
the blue
150.
line white flag,
Look,
flag waiver. Mhm.
you're supposed to have an F 150 with an American flag on the flatbed.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Yes. Yes.
I'm pretty sure you've
Yeah,
seen
I'm
those.
supposed to be wearing. I'm supposed to be wearing a red hat too.
well,
Yeah.
Denise,
Yeah.
do you think that if we were to offer our knowledge and our life experiences to the younger generations, would they be willing to accept it if we just made it like this is what we like to share instead of imposing?
I mean, you want to know something? We will listen more if we're not connected by blood, I think. Like, if I transport myself to my 18-year-old ignorant and immature person, which I still think I am. Like, in my mind, I think I'm 12, right? In maturity. So, but if I move back to that age, I would say as long as you're not related and you don't try to like lecture, I would say, I think that yes, there's a lot of things that we can learn. Like if you genuinely I think the problem with the old, and that's something I'm aiming to do with my son, is that we need to start shutting up more as we age and listen more to the youth. And we tend to do the opposite because out of desperation, because we see the youth and we know where they're going. Like I don't think older people do this out of malice. I think they generally see that we're gonna crap out, we're gonna go off the rail, we're gonna go off the cliff, and they're trying to generally warn us, right? And we in our stubbornness and immaturity want to insert dominance because we're the youth and we're adults and we're the new adults and we don't follow orders anymore, right? So we ignore that, and it often comes from parents or relatives or friends of our parents. And what ends up happening is that instead of listening to us, because there's a lot of emotional connection, elders get desperate and start talking more, and we shut down completely. That's what I've gathered analyzing myself. I would have preferred if my parents, my uncles, and my aunts would have shut up a little bit more and listen more than what they talk to me. Does that make sense?
Um, yes. Would you say that I need to shut up more and listen more?
No, because you're not doing it in like a. I don't think you are deaf to what we say, but it's obvious because you're not like as emotionally invested in us. You're more like, okay, I'm here and I'm an spectator of everyone. You get my point? And I insert my wisdom as requested, but that's not the position of a parent. It's very rare that our parent will act that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like parents often tend to be more frenetic because they have invested a lot of emotions, money, resources, time, and effort into a kid. So I think it's now that I'm a mom, I think I'm starting to understand parents a little bit more. It's it's gonna be very hard to disconnect from the sole provider of fun, thoughts, direction, and guidance for my son when he reaches his teenage years, which are the years when he starts inserting dominance because he's already like a pre-adult.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Your thoughts, Ramon?
Well, I have realized that on this panel we're actually three different generations, and I belong to the generation that has been somewhat kind of like set aside and forgotten about, because a lot of the arguing is about what the disconnection between the baby boomers and the millennials or senials or whatever is kind of like around the same age group. I'm not saying that they're all the same, but
Yeah,
the
we're right
the what
next to each other. Yeah.
millennial seniors, and I don't know what else goes with it. That they are kind of like in the same age group. Um, but as a Gen X myself, we were kind of like the generation where we got spanked,
Well, I got
we got
spanked.
shamed.
I got
Yeah,
spanked.
were you? Okay, no,
No,
it's just that we're living in
look.
a
I will
time.
say this in our defense. I think we get confused with Gen Z, and
Mhm.
that is the reason why you guys think millennials were not. We were heavily heavily spanked, even by teachers.
A
Okay.
millennial? As a millennial? Are you sure?
Oh, yes. My parents were
Oh,
part of the group that will bring my teacher a yard to whoop my ass if I misbehaved. And that was the last
really?
time I saw that. That was the last time.
No,
Like,
but
I
because
know what
as
it
a
is. I know what
uh-huh.
it is to have Mrs. Patricia whoop some ass in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Mrs. Cruz used to whoop my, because I was not a well behaved kid.
Oh, okay. No,
Okay.
because I remember seeing that when I was when I was in elementary school. When I was in elementary school, all the way until I was in junior high, on occasion I will see a teacher kind of like smacking a
Yeah.
smacking a student. I
Yeah.
got smacked over the back one time because
I had
I was
a
misbehaving a little bit.
I had
But
a professor when I
uh,
was in the 10th grade. Like, if you would try to do sleek stuff in his classroom and you were not quiet listening to what he was saying, like, he would literally grab your head and like snap it at the top of your head, and you will pay
Mhm.
you will pay attention, trust me. And today that would be called abuse.
well, maybe it
Yeah.
is a cultural
Uh,
thing where we're from, because here in the states, a school can get sued for something like that.
Yeah, definitely. And
So
even
it
in
must
our
be a cultural
generation,
thing.
even in our
Mhm.
generation, because I've talked to other millennials around my age and they never experienced that. So I think it's because in Puerto Rico we're maybe delayed for a few, like on a few years.
Mhm, mhm.
mhm.
But now in
Well,
Puerto Rico you cannot do that either.
Of course not. Of course
Yeah,
not, because
now you cannot.
that whole notion that the school may be liable for a lawsuit if they discipline
Yeah.
a kid. So I can only imagine how out of control the schools are now,
Would you
even the
imagine that
private ones.
protest? Would you imagine that protest in Fortaleza if schools are allowed to whoop your kid?
Well, yeah, yeah. No, I can only imagine even at the private schools, because I did spend a couple of years at a private school, and it was still chaos. I mean, those little motherfuckers in the in junior high, they will
Yeah.
be fighting all over the place in a private school. I saw it.
I grew
I
up in
saw it.
private school, and I can tell you it's worse than. Look, it's better education when it comes to quality. I'm not gonna lie. There's more critical thinking. You have a higher
Mhm.
grade of teachers. You have a more uniform form of education, right? And you learn a lot. However, the problems are completely different because you're dealing with a different socioeconomics,
Yeah,
mostly like middle class to upper middle class, in some forms upper class, depending on
yeah.
what private school you went to. My private school was middle class, upper middle class, right? We were not like with the used to interact with Rosabel, with Baldwin and stuff, but we were not at that level. But
Mhm.
we used to do sports, like cross sports together. But I can tell you that the
Mhm.
problems in our school was every 5 minutes there was a girl dropping from not eating for 3 weeks, so she was trying to fit into a dress.
Well,
You will have some girls, doing cocaine to avoid gaining weight. You will have girls having secret abortions because they cannot bring a
Whoa.
pregnancy to their parents. Like I saw a lot. We had friends in school. Like I personally know of a girl specifically. She was a beautiful girl, but she was obsessed with losing her virginity, and she was like, I found my boyfriend that I'm gonna lose my virginity to, and he was a 32-year-old dude, and she was 15.
Oh. Oh.
Then there
Oh.
was also,
That's
yeah,
statutory. Statutory.
there was another there was a drug ring right when I was coming in. There was this brothers that used to distribute drugs in
Hmm.
school, and majority they used to sell low grade marijuana, some ecstasy,
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So definitely, there's some stuff that people don't see in public schools that
Hmm.
definitely takes place in private school alongside other social pressures, you know
Yeah.
like you need to have a certain type of car, you need to, and people will do crazy things for
Ah,
that.
okay, yeah, yeah. That was it. That was to have something to show off to others. I mean, when I was in high school, that I was back in the public school system, so that wasn't so much of an issue having to show off. I mean, most people didn't have a car, and those that had a car, it
What?
was an old car, and
No.
yeah,
In
yeah.
my school, you needed like you're 16, and you're on your birthday, you're bringing a
Hmm.
car, and it has to be better than the last person that got a car. I remember in my sister's class, they were like with the whole civic type of fever versus
Uh-huh.
the Celica, right? So like everybody, they were bringing, no, my civic is better, and I will tell you, parents were dropping 30K on bringing the
What?
best civic for their kid. We had a girl that was a senator's daughter,
Oh,
and she won. I'm sorry. But then that lasted for like 2 weeks, because then another boy turned 16 and he brought a Celica, like a really nice Celica, brand
yeah,
new.
yeah.
So of course it was kind of like that. My sister was like, I'm not gonna compete with anybody. So my
Hmm.
dad got her a RAV4, obviously, because she had to drive me
Oh,
to
oh,
school.
just a RAV4. Oh, just a
Oh,
RAV4. Oh,
just a
Um,
RAV4.
oh,
um,
okay, okay. I
excuse
didn't
me,
have a
guys.
car in school. Hmm.
You didn't have a car in school, Ramon?
No, no, it was after I graduated when I started going to college. That's when I was able to get a hold of one of the old cars that we had.
A hand me down?
Uh, yeah, it was a hand me down, and I was fine with it because it was
Yeah,
well
no,
taken
that's
care of. And,
those are the best. Those are the best, I swear.
yeah, yeah,
Those
it
are the
was
Uh,
I
a
would
little Mazda
excuse me.
hatchback.
yeah,
Yeah,
those are
and I
the
will go to the
best.
beach now. Yes, Jose.
Excuse me, guys. When I was a kid in school, I was well behaved. So I guess when I decided to,
Sure thing. You were losing your
they got
virginity in school
And yeah,
because
no,
you were so
he
well,
lost.
so
Let's
well
not forget,
behaved.
he said that he lost his virginity at a school, at a church trip.
At church. Yeah, you were so
I
well
would have
behaved. I
never,
assure you
I
that.
would never do that. Okay, I would
I
have
wouldn't dare. I
never.
will be too intimidated. I will feel that like maybe Jesus will come out of the cross and whoop my ass if I try to do something
Yeah,
at a church.
like
I will be too
Jose.
scared.
Yeah, you see, Jose, you were not well behaved. Stop the cap. Stop.
no, I was well behaved.
Nah,
Yeah,
stop.
sure,
I was
sure.
well behaved.
In front of the nuns, you were well behaved, but other than
Yeah,
that,
because they could hit you with a ruler, right?
yeah,
In front
nuns
of
or
the nun.
nuns. Look, in PR, that's one thing I would say. I am so grateful that Catholic schools somewhat punish your kid in Puerto Rico,
Mhm.
because I
Yeah.
saw my niece and my nephew growing up, and those nuns, they didn't play. They
Oh
did
no.
not play. Okay, they did not play with you, and they were not asking for permission. You were going to do what they say you were going to do. That's how it
Yeah,
was.
but I think that's everywhere. Everywhere where the teachers were nuns, I mean, they will be strict as
Yeah,
hell.
nuns are like that. So Jose, you probably pissed off a few nuns here and there.
Oh my.
No, I wouldn't say that. Mm,
The nuns, if you were loved by the nuns, all your classroom hated you. I can tell you that right off the bat.
Yeah, you were seen as the ass kisser.
Yeah, you
The
were
ass kisser of the
hated
class.
by the class. I can, because look, we didn't have nuns, but we had, and I went to the school, a very religious private school.
Mhm.
And the theologist students from that same church organization, the religious organization, the women could not be pastors because he was extremely misogynistic. Women could not be pastors. So what did they do with these women that were entering the theology program at Antillean University in Mayagüez? Well, they would bring them back to the schools so they could teach Bible class. And uh, if you were loved by the Bible teacher, by the Bible class teacher, trust me, no one in the whole school, out of all the 600 students, no one liked you.
Mm.
No one. And I'm talking elementary, middle, and superior, which is high school. No
Yeah,
one liked you. That's just how you were annoying.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
I can
definitely.
imagine.
Well,
Oh shit.
well, like I said before, I was a well-behaved student. I never
Cap.
gave my mother any grief when I was in school.
Uh-huh. I can only imagine all the time that she had to use the chancleta on you.
Yeah, of course.
Had to use it
Todo el
like a
tiempo que le
boomerang.
tenía las nalgas montadas todo el
Actually, she,
tiempo. And he's here saying, he's here saying that he was a good kid.
No. You well behaved kid my butt.
Yeah, Ramon,
I
you know
was,
those
I
kids,
was like,
you know those kids that when they get hit in the butt, they start covering with their hands and jumping. That was Jose. Ay, 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 ay. Y la mamá, por donde te coja, te voy a dar, por
actually,
donde
I
te
was,
coja. Ay, como
actually,
decimos
I
en
was
Puerto
like
Rico,
Bonifacio.
a José, a ti te dieron hasta por dentro del pelo, te dieron.
Ay, no me quiero imaginar. I don't want to imagine. Oh my.
Oh my
Getting all
goodness
this spanking.
gracious.
Estaban dándote pela, te estaban tostoneando.
Yeah, that's how
Oh shit.
Puerto Rican parenting 101. Wherever they can get you, you'll get hit.
Yeah,
They don't care.
yeah,
They don't care.
yeah.
Well,
Hasta dentro de las
I
orejas.
didn't get
Yeah.
hit a lot. I didn't get hit a lot as a child, so I was well behaved.
Yeah. You were well behaved after you got that spanking. Then you
Yeah.
behave
Yeah.
until the next one.
Yeah.
Until the next time.
He
They
learned.
have to-
They made sure
Yeah.
he learned.
Yeah. Oh my.
Ay, ay, ay. No. I every day for a very long season of my life as a child, I got spanked. But
No, but the thing is, uh-huh.
I was not well behaved. I was not.
Okay.
The only reason, look, the only reason why I never had that issue going into stores, mom, before me entering a store, she would tell me, touch with your eyes and look at things with your hands. I never figured out what she was trying to say when I was a kid, so I will try to literally do that. And that's
Oh.
why I never broke anything as a child. But she used to tell me right after that, si rompes algo y lo tengo que pagar, te lo voy a sacar del cuero.
Sí. Sí,
We have all
common-
heard that.
Yeah,
Right?
common expression. It's a
Yeah.
common thing. It's a common saying. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that basically means you break something, you're gonna get the whooping of a lifetime. You're going to beg to see Jesus. Okay,
Oh,
like
man.
if you break something, you are going to hell. So
The
trust
thing
me,
is
you
that when
don't
it
want
comes to
that.
when it comes to that, I remember in the final years before I moved out of Puerto Rico, I would meet women that were about my age that maybe already had a kid or two,
Mhm.
and they will go on and on talking about how they never discipline their kids. They will
I've
never
heard
spank their
those. I've
kids,
heard those.
and I'm like, okay, you're kind of doing a disservice to them. I mean, you're
Yeah.
not putting any discipline on them, and you're gonna let them do whatever the hell they want. They're not gonna be growing up to be the best kids. I
But we're
mean, we
seeing it, Ramon. Gen X is the parents of Gen Z, the seniors. Those are the
yeah, yeah.
blue haired idiots out here that are saying they feel like a man, feel like a woman.
Yeah, I couldn't. But that's the thing. I couldn't be a parent because if I were a parent, I could only parent the way I was parented, and that was like they come at me with the whole. I feel like you're gonna feel something, pow pow.
Oh my God, you just
Uh,
reminded me of something my mom used to say when she was like, I already told you twice to not do that. The next time you're not gonna hear, you're gonna feel it. And she
Yeah,
would walk away like like a gangster. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to feel anything.
yeah, yeah. Because
well,
because you were already scared of it because there was already a precedent. You don't set the precedent for possible punishment. Then there is no respect. There is not that little bit of fear of something happening to you, and that prompting you to behave better. What
Yeah.
happens
But
with
but
many
you
of
know
these
what?
kids?
But you know
They
what?
don't get punished, and they can do whatever the fuck they want, and they make it very difficult for the teachers later on at the schools because the teachers can't discipline. They can't do it.
My mom is a teacher. And let me tell you something. One of my sisters already don't whoop their kids.
Mhm,
She doesn't whoop her kids because she's raising them in the quote unquote Montessori way.
mhm.
But in reality, like we don't see the Montessori results. Now, I would say that maybe partially is because of guilt tripping too, because look at my mom. Okay, this is coming from the look, my mom, she had little to no patience to deal with us. Okay, that woman, you know, how is it called, Ramon? What's the name of a matamoscas in English?
Fly swatter
Okay, there
or
was
fly
one
swatter.
that they used to sell one in Puerto Rico that in at the end, instead of having the square thing, it
Uh-huh.
had a chancleta at the bottom.
Ah!
I
what?
kid you not. I kid you not. I swear on my life. She got that one. And the only reason why she got that is so that she could literally be driving and use it to hit us whatever she could get us with that shit. Okay?
And I've seen it. I've seen it. I remember. I
Okay.
remember a couple of times back at home because we had a street in the
Mhm.
neighborhood. We had a street in front that ran in front of the house, and I remember a couple of times there were instances in which there will be this woman with a couple of kids in the car, and the kids were so misbehaved that she will have to stop the car, and you will start seeing her kind of like swinging
You
towards the back
see?
seat, and that was her whooping the kids that were in the
My
back seat
mom
misbehaving.
my mom was like, I do not care where I hit you. I'm driving and I'm trying to get somewhere. So she will hit us with that. Sometimes that will get us in the eye, in the forehead, in the shoulder. She did not care. And that woman used to always also, you know, those plastic hangers? She will hit us with those to the point that they will be broken all the time. And that's the same woman that's telling me today, do not hit my grandkid.
Hmm.
You can always talk to the kid.
Mhm.
Do not
Yeah.
hit my grandkid. I'm like, you, the most violent parent in the universe, he's telling me, don't hit my grandkid.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
because
guys,
that
guys,
mentality is not there anymore. Yeah,
guys,
Yeah.
guys, I have a
yeah.
question. Do you still think of me as a male Karen?
I said, what?
As a male Karen.
As a male Karen?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. There's something that happened one night when I was doing overtime. Okay.
Oh wow. You ended
Actually, I
someone's food
found out.
stamps.
Oh, you made it hard for somebody, huh?
You know what he said? I don't care about your Good Friday. You're not purchasing that fish. I'm taking your food stamps.
Oh man. Oh
No, no,
man.
no, no,
You took
no.
that EBT away. You made it invalid. Oh man. That's messed up.
No. What happened was there was a temp that was for some reason he was using his phone to take pictures of sign sheet, those sign-in sheets that you have to sign in for attendance,
Hmm.
and that's a
Mm-hmm.
big no-no because that's considered confidential information. So you know
Mm.
what happened? Um, my colleague actually sent an email to DHS to file a complaint, and then I did the same thing. The tent never returned to the same place again.
Mm. Mm. Somebody trying to take a picture of an attendance record?
Yes.
Hmm.
And you did not attend it? I'm lost.
No. Okay. What happened was there was a person. There was a temp. I don't know why. I don't know why he did this, but he was taking pictures of sign-in sheets for attendance sheets with his phone.
Okay.
That's you
Uh-huh.
can You're not allowed to do that because that's confidential information.
Mm.
And you had to let people know about that.
So
You
I
see?
actually sent an email to the DHS.
Homeland
Wow.
Security. You really ratted the person out. Just
You see? I'm telling
okay.
you, he is the Puerto Rican Karen.
Oh man,
No,
man.
Look at
I
what
was
MK
doing my
said. It's legal, Jose, if you don't tell. Exactly. Jose's a snitch because he's the male Karen, the male Karen, the male Puerto Rican Karen in the
oh my
flesh.
goodness, my
Hey,
side is
MK.
coming off. Well,
That's
Wow.
messed up.
first of all, first of all, I was doing my due diligence to protect confidential
Uh-huh.
information.
You always could blackmail him. Why do you have to send the email? You could have taken your smartphone out, right, and take a picture of him taking a picture of that, and then just send him that picture and say, "Got you, bitch. Now I need you to do something for me." You know, because that's illegal.
Mm.
You get my
Mm.
point? So
I understand,
basically, huh?
yeah, but I was doing the ethical thing.
No, no, no. Fuck ethical. Imagine you getting a full month of Starbucks supply. Every morning you don't
Wow!
have look at MK.
Okay.
Yeah. What you do is you tell him, got you. And you tell him, I can do two things. I can go to HR with this, or you could bring me a blueberry scone every morning with a caramel macchiato
Oh,
for a whole
damn,
month, right? It's
damn.
up to you. Do you want to stay employed? I hear times are rough. Just saying, right? And keep walking.
But you know,
You see? You
but
got
you
to
know
learn
what's the
from me,
crazy part
Jose.
about the whole? But you know what's the crazy part? He's trying to post himself like he's a municipal employee. I got news for you. If you did not get your position through a civil service exam or a provisional appointment, you're not a municipal employee.
So you're jealous that he's not a municipal employee?
No, I mean he's trying to post himself as one of us.
And you don't like that. Oh, so this is personal. Even more the reason, ask for something else. Like, I want $1,000. I want $1,000 for me to delete this. And you put it on the fund pro the Dominican Republic strip. You see?
No,
And then you start You start document you start
Yeah, yeah.
documenting what other coworkers do that's not proper. And you start blackmailing them. Hey, I saw you grabbing an extra donut from the box. And that, yeah, it might not be against HR rules, but people were asking questions, and I can make the whole office hate you. Unless you give me $150 and then you put it in for Dominican Republic's trip. You see?
Uh,
Next thing you know, next thing you know, you funded your trip and it's not out of pocket.
oh my god!
You see, it would be the
Damn,
devil
damn
works hard,
blackmailer.
but
I had
Jose
high
works
accuracy.
harder.
That's some blackmail shit.
Yeah, you see, and then you go somewhere. I saw you stealing a container that literally had a label saying it was from Jasper, and you still grabbed it, and I have the picture, but I can forget I saw it and delete the picture if I get $300.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and you continue, and next thing you know, you're going to the DR for free.
And somebody else is dying.
Well,
That's
I
good.
Yeah, you
well
see?
I gotta have a private discussion one of these days with you, Denise,
Yeah,
regarding
follow me for more
regarding that.
advice, folks, on how to make office life bearable. Right? And if they
Okay.
refuse or try to do something to you, you're gonna go to the store, you're gonna buy a bacalao, right, which is
Mm-hmm.
codfish, and you're going to cook it in your home, and you're gonna put it in a container, and the next day you wait for that person to be eating, and you warm up that beautiful bacalao aroma. Everybody hates when the office smells like fish. Trust me, everyone.
That's true.
Tastes good,
That
but
is so
yeah,
true.
but the smell is strong.
That is so
Yeah.
true.
That's what you do, and you continue with your
But
life.
you know something. One
Huh.
time, I actually did a short stream in the lunchroom
Mhm.
on my channel, and then someone actually said to me, "Negron, don't tell me that you're doing a live stream right now in the pantry." And I say, "Yeah."
Oh my god, that's you see that you need to command respect from these people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Mhm.
basically, like I said, you gotta get them, all of them, with their hand in the cookie jar. That is your only job, Jose. That is your
Mhm.
only job. Imagine tax-free income, Jose. Tax-free. And this goes for everyone that works in an office setting. Take notes. Your job is to catch every one of the people you work with their hands in the cookie jar, right?
Mm-hmm.
The New Year's
Okay.
resolutions are there for a reason, and you need to accomplish them. And this is the way you will do that. You will catch them with their hand in the cookie jar, and you'll start just asking for a donation so that to help you make forget, right?
Okay.
I need you to help me forget
Oh,
I saw
I
this.
oh, Denise, I did look into your private Instagram account, and
Oh, you saw it?
he, he looks so he looks so adorable. I have to come. I have to come out, like, if nothing else, to see your little bundle of joy.
Definitely, definitely. He is growing really fast. He's
Mm-hmm.
growing into his own personality, right? I see
Mhm.
some of MK's traits, but mostly I think he got a little bit of my temper, well, my full temper.
Oh man.
Okay.
So good luck. Good luck.
Well,
Next time, next thing you know, you'll see me with the chancleta matamosca swinging to the back.
Oh, you're trying to catch up to him and outrunning you, and you.
Oh my god, I can only imagine.
So
He's gonna be my gym. I'll never be fat again. Never
yeah,
be
yeah.
fat again.
You're gonna have to start getting in shape for when
Yeah,
he become he becomes so he starts getting fast and agile, starts
yeah,
outrunning you. You can't.
yeah.
You have to be able to chase after him. So.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. I'm telling you, it's something else. And he's so strong, guys.
Hmm.
Like he's really strong,
Hmm.
really strong. Oh.
So, Denise,
Hmm.
what has been the biggest surprise to you as being a mom?
The biggest what?
Surprise.
The biggest surprise. Positive or negative? Okay, I'll give positive. Positive surprise is first like how fast they grow, and the fact that he recognized me like right out the womb. Like literally the minute I gave birth, like they
Hmm.
put him on my chest and we locked eyes and he never stopped looking at me. Like we knew each other forever. Okay. It was one of the most beautiful things I've experienced. Now, negative surprise, right? I'm not gonna go into any graphic details. I'm not gonna talk about those things that we all know.
Hmm.
It's just how your milk supply, it's something that's so difficult to establish, right? We don't talk enough about that in society. How
Hmm.
little
Hmm.
things can affect your milk supply, how difficult it is to establish it, and how invested you have to be in it. So definitely, yeah, Gigi. This is my only child, my first child, and to Irby, his name is Grayson Julian. So yeah, definitely it's something that those are two surprises that catch me without me even knowing I was gonna live through them.
Hmm.
Hmm.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Yes,
You know what I
ma'am.
haven't seen? I haven't
Mm.
seen in those pictures. There is one thing that I haven't seen
What?
on your boy in those pictures. You want to know what it is? That I'm a little
What?
disappointed in you.
What?
I haven't seen him wearing something with the Puerto Rican hat on it,
Oh
with a
my God.
Puerto Rican
Look,
flag.
look.
Yeah.
I am I want to get a onesie that says like 50 because I found it. It says 50% Puerto Rican, 50% American, 100% awesome. So trust me, it's
Okay.
coming. It's coming. And I'm getting him a Guayabera onesie too. So it's
Ah,
coming. And I will get
ah,
him a little pava, but I'm waiting for him to grow a little bit more. You
okay,
know,
okay.
he brought it through and through.
A baby power. Ah, that will be
Right.
Baby
something to
power.
see. Ah, I wanna see that.
Do you know, Denise? You
Yeah.
know, in my alternate reality,
Hmm.
you and MK will be living in Parkchester, and
Oh,
Grayson, Grayson,
up in the cold. Yeah, he wants you to be living
Grayson will
all
be
up
playing.
in the
Grayson will be
cold
playing.
among the rats.
Grayson will be
Yeah,
playing in the snow, and then you joining in the snow.
no stars. I know.
No, Grayson does not like the snow like his mother. MK has never seen snow, so I think he loves it until he has to deal with it. Which he will come to the conclusion that my uncle came, which he calls it mierda blanca. So, but he lives in Philly, so of course it snows every year. He's screwed.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah, I think I wouldn't make a stream regarding motherhood. I'm trying to squeeze it in between, um, so that people can ask me questions and mostly to like discuss certain things.
Well,
Like it was huge for me. Like I everything I thought about labor, it was like 100% opposite of what it was.
mhm.
Okay. No, it's because there are so many. You always hear the stories about so many women having such a hard time with labor and being off so many hours. I don't know how it was for you.
It
I'm
was
sure that there were
horrible.
difficulties.
Look,
Yeah, I'm sure that there were difficulties, but
to have the most natural birth, right? Because I had a full natural pregnancy. I didn't
Mhm.
even took pain medicine throughout my whole pregnancy, and you guys know I have arthritis. So it was hard, right? But I managed to make it. Then I get mom's results for her last screening for her cancer markers, and they're like up the roof, like higher than before she had surgery.
Yeah.
So that same day, I had to go get, go to an appointment to like monitor my contractions and my blood pressure and, the intensity of the contractions and whatnot. So the contractions started happening. I started having contractions week 37 and a half. And my blood pressure was at 140. So, and throughout my pregnancy, it was always like 119, 116 and stuff. So they were
Yeah.
like, this is weird, but we're going to let it pass because this is the first time. If there's like a second high blood pressure reading, then we'll look deep into it. So the next time I went with my mom and it was a little bit lower. So it was no issue. They sent me home because it was at 122, I believe, something like that. Then the third one, because it was that same week, which is week 38, I went again and they were discussing mostly because I was seeing my mom struggle with that, after chemo. And that put me in like a weird mental state. So, of course, for the second time, my blood pressure was high. So they sent me right to the maternity aisle at the hospital. And
Mhm.
they told me, no, we're just going to figure out what's going on. And they either send you home or they will have to induce. They had to induce. And I went in Thursday at 11 a.m. And after 41 hours of labor,
Oh man.
I gave
God.
birth on Saturday at 3:16 a.m. It was 41 hours, and I wanted it to be completely natural, but an
Mhm.
hour 33 of contractions because it was contractions back to back.
Mhm.
It was Friday, I would say Friday evening, Friday like around 6 or 7 p.m., almost 8. I said, you know what? Give me the epidural. I can't take it no more. Because I always had in my mind, okay, labor will be like a full day, like because I'm first time mom, so I will have 24 hours of extreme pain. So I prepped my mind for that. But then I saw the first day go by and nothing was happening, and I was getting like a lot of contractions that were very painful. And the worst part is that they were not letting me walk because they induce, and when they induce your labor, you cannot stand up or move
Mhm.
from the bed. And I'm a
Mm.
person that I cannot stay in the same position for long periods of times. So definitely I had to beg for them to let me walk.
Mhm.
And it was horrible. So at hour 33 I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Give me the epidural. I'll take it. And that was another shock. But I will go more in detail about that on that stream. So you guys can hear the whole story about how these things are. Literally,
Yeah.
yeah, Gigi. Yeah, Gigi. But literally, the second I agree with her. She says, "Giving birth is horrendous, no matter which way you go. LOL. There's no avoiding it." Look, I prep for like the natural way, and it is horrendous. But the second time that I have a kid, I will definitely not go to the hospital. I will have it either at home or at a
Mhm.
birthing center.
Mm.
I would not go. The hospital is the worst place
That's
to give birth.
Hmm. No, because conventional wisdom says that is a hospital is the place where things are more under control, and you have a medical staff there, you have the doctors, nurses, and so on, and they'll help you. There is the maternity ward. The That's conventional wisdom, but you're saying that that's
The
not even the West. That's not
That
even the
started that
West.
started that's only in the US, by the way. Like
Mhm.
if you start looking at other countries, you will realize that they mostly have midwives. By the way, I was invited by one of the midwives in the UK to be on her podcast talking about this because I did, like, you can ask MK. I spent all of my pregnancy reading,
Hmm.
researching, watching documentaries, looking for ways to do natural alternative things during pregnancy.
Mhm.
So I planned really well. for it.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, you get pushed. The more, uh, oh, look at Gigi. She's like, oh no, they have no drugs, girl. No. Look, they offered me even fentanyl at the hospital. And I declined several times. They offered me like
What?
6 times. Yeah, they did. And
Wow,
the
fentanyl.
yes, like if you don't read properly, like for example, I'm not trying to diss on doctors. I'm not a doctor expert. So, you do whatever you want to do, but I'm telling you what I have researched, right? Um, Doctors recommend that women intake Tylenol for minor pains during pregnancy because they deem it safe, right?
Mhm,
Mostly in the US. But
mhm.
there's new research that starts to show, it started
Mhm.
in 2019, that Tylenol consumption it's linked directly to the creation of kids with the famous ADHD, ADD,
Oh,
Asperger's, and autism. There's a direct link to it, depending on certain, markers in your DNA. So we're causing all these neurological issues on children by recommending a medicine that can potentially change their lives forever. But no one's saying anything because, hello, profit. So
Okay.
same thing happened with what was the other thing? And your OB will pressure you to do this. I remember when my OB told me, like I told her, because I have arthritis on my knee and my hip.
mhm.
I had a lot of pain carrying my baby after the second trimester. And she was like, just take the damn Tylenol. And if you look at her notes, we're so condescending. When she was like, oh, like she's just saying that this is her miracle baby and she doesn't want to damage her baby with medicine and whatever, whatever. Like it was so condescending what you get from the system. And then eventually they want to push so many drugs into you. On top of that, if you're in pain, like for induction, for example, instead of just letting it happen, they induce. And these inductions increase during the holidays. Of course, my baby was supposed to be due on January 1st, which is New Year's. So they
Mhm.
induced, so it will happen on the 23rd, but it ended up happening on Christmas Eve, which was the 24th.
Mm.
So, and it happened, they wanted to even accelerate it even further with a cervical balloon. But that was extremely painful. I asked, because they were about to do it. And I was like, is this like from the scale of 1 to 10? She's like, oh, it's like a cervical exam. When you're pregnant, that is extremely painful. And imagine being on that for 4 hours nonstop. Well, Gigi can attest from what I'm saying. A cervical exam, it's basically like being on a pap smear for 4 hours with that instrument up in there. That hurts.
Mm.
And they're like, oh, but we
Mm.
can give you fentanyl.
But,
I'm
but
like,
fentanyl, that
I'm
could
like,
kill you.
no, it's controlled fentanyl. And the problem is that
Oh,
I
yeah, yeah.
was I didn't have a
The
problem with
dose.
taking the fentanyl, but the thing is like fentanyl crosses the placenta in 1 minute. So your baby will be also intaking fentanyl with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're gonna drug my child because you want to accelerate his birth fast enough so that you can make it to home to eat your pineapple glazed ham during Christmas Eve. Hell no. I'm like, you're
Um,
stalking here
Hey,
and I'm
there's nothing
stalking
wrong
here
with
too.
jamon con piña. Jamon con piña is great.
No,
I
there's
mean,
nothing wrong with
um,
it.
mhm.
Go
guys,
ahead, Jose.
when I when I had my knee replacement on my left knee, which you would believe, that had me on oxycodone and morphine combined.
What?
No,
What?
that's
I,
insane.
so
What?
I was on
Oxycontin and what else?
morphine.
I- And morph. Oh, damn! It's a miracle that you're alive because I
Yeah.
mean, Oxycontin, morphine is very strong. That's something that they give to soldiers in the middle of a war when they get injured to minimize the
Oxycontin,
pain. And
Oxycontin, it's
and
highly
Oxycontin,
addictive.
right, right. I think
Like you
that's
could
what
have
it
walk
was.
out. You could have
Uh-huh.
walk out like as a heroin addict after that.
Yes. No, Oxycontin. I think that's what Rush Limbaugh used to be addicted to. I mean, before he passed away, I think it was Oxycontin. Yeah, it's highly
Mhm.
addictive.
It takes 3 doses,
Wow.
Ramon, to get someone hooked on it. But Jose's a good Catholic kid.
Yeah, yeah.
He
I
was
mean,
not gonna let that happen. He was like, I'm feeling a tingle, but I'm not gonna follow it. Which is a good thing. I wish more people will have that willpower. That's why I said I'm like, you're a miracle. Because most people just get addicted and continue with the pill intake.
yeah.
Well,
Or at least try to find Percocet or whatever.
Yeah.
Las palitroques.
Yeah,
As we
las
call them.
pali,
well,
las famosas
Yeah.
pali.
Yep.
well, actually, what I plan to do within the next 2 weeks is have a unique stream, and the topic is going to be called the Victimization Olympics.
Ooh, you're
So
gonna get
basically,
heat.
the premise of all that is talking about, but you know what? I'm suffering from an incurable disease that's called I don't care itis.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So actually,
All
I
right.
plan to do it in about 2 weeks, and I'm going to invite. Well, actually, I'm going to invite you, Denise, and I'm going to invite someone else to sit in, the Radical Latino, and see if we can
Mm.
share our wisdom regarding the victimization Olympics.
Yeah,
And you know
definitely
what was the
reach out to him.
yes, you know what inspired me to do this? To
What?
see you and Radical talking about the issues, as some of the issues that that some people don't want to talk about, particularly when it comes to the African American community. So there's people that claim to be victims again and again and again and again. So I plan to share my thoughts on the subject. So I'm definitely going to reach out to you, Denise, and I'm going to reach out to Rad and see if we can schedule this so the three of us can share our point of view.
Yeah, no, definitely. If I can, I will join. I'm doing a stream Saturday on something similar. You know, and I started a poll on my community tab. Like, if some of the people watching have not voted, like casted their vote in my community tab, I ask questions every Monday regarding what I'm gonna talk about on Saturday. And this Saturday we're gonna talk about like if non-black folks should talk about black folks issues and why. So if you're interested in that, it's I mean, like I said, detractors and trolls are invited. Um, if you want to do so, or if you want to contribute to the conversation, but you're too shy to come up or whatever, just cast your vote or leave a comment. I'll read the comments live. But we're definitely gonna
Well,
talk about that because I go ahead.
I actually voted on your poll. So
Oh, you did?
uh, yes, I did.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because it's something that I've noticed like lately. A lot of people want to like censor others on what they can and cannot talk about. And I understand. We have mean folks out here that are racist, disrespectful, nasty. Like, of course, it's the world. But like, if you don't like what someone like, if I okay, do you think that we as Puerto Ricans like the way sometimes we are discussed by Congress? No. But you
No,
know what I do? I just don't watch them. That's what I do.
exactly.
I don't go and
But
make streams about it or go over there and leave them like a hate paragraph hating on them.
something, Denise, and one thing I notice about how we interact, we have to disagree on multiple occasions. However, for the most part, we've been very agreeable when we disagree, and we kept it professional.
Yeah, because I okay. I don't expect people to agree with me 100%. Right? I like when people disagree with me, as a matter of fact. What I don't like is when people misrepresent what you say or take it personally. I personally will never attack anyone that has not personally attacked me. The only
Mhm.
people that I have personally attacked, I have received that from them. I give what I get. If you come at me with personal attacks, I will absorb them and laugh with you. But then when it's my turn, you cannot cry, right? It's only fair. And what I
Yeah.
usually get is like when I counter
Yeah.
attack personally, people start making a big deal about it. So that's why I prefer that there's no personal attacks when we disagree. And I have found that just here and there, a few people here and there, not a lot. Basically, us, the three of us, we have disagreed several times. I have disagreed
Yeah.
with Radical Latino. And do you see us doing this whole bickering and insults and stuff? No, we don't. We don't do that. That's childish. But
Mhm.
definitely, I will. I
Yeah.
will do. Look at what Gigi said. She's like, I think everyone can speak on what they want. Gotta be prepared for the drag, though. Yeah, you. But this is my thing. You can try to drag a person, but because look at what's happening with just barely things right now.
Mhm.
Do you think that less black folks are going to commit crimes out there? The criminal part of the black community is going to commit less crimes against the non-criminal black community because of what they're doing with Pearl.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't even see how one thing has to do with the
You
other.
get my point? Do you think that the lovely ladies of the black community will stop being unruly and out of control and get in the program of their men like they're supposed to do because of what's happening with Pearl? You get my
Mm.
point? It's
Yeah.
like these people are getting mad at folks like myself and Rad because we're
Hmm.
discussing the dysfunction of the black community, but they're not getting mad at the dysfunction. Like
Well,
I will be pissed
Well,
at the
uh-huh.
dysfunction.
No, I mean, kind of like to be devil's advocate just for a moment. I mean,
Hmm.
what I would expect, what I would expect them to say is something along the lines of, like, that's none of your business. That's for us to figure out. That's for us to talk about amongst ourselves. I mean, you have no business having an opinion on it. Um, that kind of thing. That's kind of like why
mhm.
I gonna stay away from those subjects. The only ones that I will say something is about the FBAs, because the FBAs, that's a cult. I mean, they're not gonna be around that much longer because but they do like to talk a lot of shit, and some of them have come to us and they try to get in our faces, and either they want to call us fleers, or they talk about that they're gonna get with the Latinas, and they're gonna get with
But
the
you see
women in
that's
our
the
group. And,
clownery. But you see that's the clownery. It's like
yeah.
you have on one hand, you first of all, it's like I said, unfortunately, I'm not gloating about that. That's a sad thing to see, right?
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Black
Mhm.
Americans do not have a community, because a community is a group of people that get along with one another, form families and marriages, right?
Mhm.
They don't have that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the first thing. And the problem is that because they're so laser focused on the concept of race, white people really did a number on them on that. You know, they laser focus on the topic of race and the messenger. It's kind of like they're looking for another Martin Luther King or
Mhm.
Malcolm X, and unfortunately those guys were too great. We're not going to see them again in our lifetimes. They're not. We don't have those type of people anymore. So people are looking for that in the black community, and instead of becoming that for themselves and their families, what they're doing is just attacking whoever brings a positive solution or discusses the topic, not understanding, and also making excuses for the ones that they don't even agree with. Give me 1 second, guys, because I'm about to run out of battery. Let me plug in the charger.
Okay. Yeah, but something that I wanted to say real quick,
Okay.
to the chat. I mean, nobody here is condoning what Pearl was saying. I mean, she knowingly had a white supremacist, a full blown white supremacist on her on her show. She usually what she talks about are things that have to do with dating and relationships, and that's kind of what I check out about her, the dynamics and the whole thing about the modern woman who can come they can come in every race. But she wanted to have that Nick Fuentes guy on her show who is a known white supremacist, and then I mean, if she had just been talking about his views, that would have been fine. But what it became a problem was when she started kind of like the conversation got into the whole thing about slavery, and that's when the problem started. I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't
when,
I don't agree. Okay. I would have never said, first of all, I would have never sat down with Nick Fuentes. like
yeah,
he's not even the fact that he's a white supremacist. If we put that aside, because he is, I don't care what people say, like, oh, he's not, he's a white supremacist.
mhm,
And we have discussed this on Radical's platform like plenty.
mhm,
Uh Aside from that, Nick Fuentes doesn't contribute anything to the conversation that she's talking about. And third,
Mhm.
well, I can see how saying that slavery was embellished
mhm,
can make some, especially coming from a white person, right? It will make
mhm,
some people upset. Now, do the concept of dragging slavery and its atrocities that were disgusting until this day, traumatizing to see when we see them in movies, imagine real life,
mhm.
were those atrocities magnified so that people can still be talking about them now and try to use them as an excuse? 100%. And I think she couldn't verbalize that part, but if you listen to the whole thing in context, I think, in my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but I think that's what she was basically trying to say, that people
Mhm.
in modern society need to walk away from being traumatized by slavery because they were not personally enslaved and they're very
Mhm.
removed from it, you know.
Well, to be devil's advocate for a moment, the reply to that I will expect is
Mhm.
that generationally it could have been damaging what happened to their ancestors. There's something that it can be all the what happened during hundreds of years, all of not just the mistreatment, the straight up brutality that their ancestors went through. That's something that trauma can be passed down generationally, and it hasn't been debriefed. They haven't been treated for it. They haven't had therapy for it. They haven't had uh, help for it. And those stories and what happened to their ancestors, those stories have been passed down generationally. And that's something
But the
that could still be affecting them. Not to mention that when it comes to the wealth that was created out of it, okay, the descendants of the slave owners are still benefiting from that. I mean, that whole notion that they should just forget about it. It was a long time ago.
No, I don't think they should
It-
forget about it. I think that's the problem with look, that's the problem with people. You don't have to forget about it. No
Mhm,
one's I don't think the people that are well intent, like with good intentions, right? We're not telling people just forget about it. We're just saying you cannot. It doesn't matter how traumatizing it was to you, even though it's ridiculous to think that in 2023 slavery can traumatize a person, right? When they were not alive during that time. But let's just give them that. You were traumatized by slavery. Uh, in 2023, you cannot use as an excuse,
mhm,
right? That your ancestry was enslaved
mhm,
for two things, right? Two major things. First, because the access to mental health assistance through your healthcare provider is right there. You can technically get help for free. Okay, so go sit down and deal with your trauma. And second, because many other places in the world have experienced enslavement too. And they're not using it as an excuse to not move forward. And I think that modern Black folks, because if you look at back, when Black folks were oppressed, persecuted, lynched, brutalized, extorted, squeezed for everything they had, and blatantly just left to die, they found a way to survive. And not only survive, they thrived. So if they could do that under full blown persecution to the point that they scared the whites into emancipating them out of fear, what's your excuse in 2023? You get my point? That's what we're saying. Like, it's clownery. You come from a race of warriors and you're trying to be a whiner, degrading who you are. This is not who Black people are. What we're seeing on these people whine, this is not who Black Americans are known for. They're known for being warriors. And these people are literally making excuses for fuckery. Like, oh, like
Yes.
I cannot get a good education because my ancestry was enslaved, or because of the crack crisis or whatever. I'm like, that's some bold, just clownery. Like, I will understand that if you come from like a, I'm sorry, Ramon, I know we're Puerto Ricans, but let's keep it real. We've never been free. We've never been really free. We never freed ourselves from our oppressor. I can understand how we
Mhm.
can victimize ourselves because that's our culture. We have victimized ourselves with colonizers 100% for almost 600 years that we've been a
Mhm.
colony. But I
Yeah.
cannot understand that from Black people because they have been free. You get my point?
Well,
They have constantly freed themselves. They have constantly freed themselves throughout history.
they will tell you that slavery didn't end for them. I mean, what was slavery? Then it became the prison industrial complex that targets them, and the school to prison pipeline that targets them. That will be the argument that will expect to hear
Yeah,
that
it targets them,
that, that
but
it got that it got reformatted. What was slavery? It became the school to prison pipeline and the prison industrial complex because
that's some
of the
bullshit
13th
right
Amendment.
there. That's
That
bullshit. Do you know that, right? Like if you don't commit a crime, you won't end up in prison. It's that simple.
yeah, but you do understand that after slavery, after emancipation, all of these codes and laws were made up to make sure to put them in a situation where they will be seen as they were committing a crime, like vagrancy laws
No, no, I
or
understand. I understand that. Look, I understand even the 1990s mass incarceration BS that the government did, right? I understand those because
Mhm,
that was purposely put in place to get free labor for different states, right?
mhm,
And that was obviously the Clintons trying to fill up their prisons so they could make some kickback money off of our tax dollars. I understand that. But after the 1990s, if you're out here getting incarcerated, and this not only goes for Black Americans, let's go for Latinos too, because let's not forget we're the second largest group that's incarcerated.
mhm,
If
mhm,
after the 1990s you're out here committing crimes and getting incarcerated so that you can be a slave of the state, shame on fucking you. And this
mhm.
is coming from a person that 3 members of her family have been incarcerated hard time in
Yeah.
the United States. Okay, so trust me when I'm telling you, you gotta be a dumbtard to in modern times after everything we've seen still be out here trying to become a slave for this fucking country instead of just trying to learn the country and do something with the information that you have. It's kind of like you're spinning all over the blood, sweat, and tears of the people before you.
Mhm.
You get, I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah. No, no, MK. I have heard about it. Yes, I didn't go to school here, but I have heard about the the school to prison pipeline. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I said.
Yeah, it shaped the mindset. Like
Mhm.
again, people think that because we were in the island, we don't know how the gringo system works. We are America's colony. Hello, we know how it works. Come
Mhm.
on, we know how it works. Like if you think that
Yeah,
the same
the
is not being
pipeline is
done down there,
from the
yeah,
underfunded schools where the kids are getting fucked up education. Of course, it's
yeah.
gonna be more likely that
What do you
they're
think,
condemned to
Ramon?
prison.
And they had the crime bill of the 1990s, and we have mano dura contra el crimen. They were at the same time, parallel to each other, mass incarcerating Puerto Ricans.
Mhm.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I want black folks that feel too much when people talk about this, instead of getting upset and pissy about it, start looking into the people that are talking about you. Start getting to know who they are so that you can understand where they're coming from. We know more than what y'all think. Why? Because black folks in America are the most influential
Uh,
group of non-whites. Go ahead, Jose.
yeah, but Denise, what's the problem with that? Would you like to say it or should I say it?
Ah, say it, say it.
No, no. Go on.
Ah.
Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes too much damn sense. Yeah, it like I
No,
said, it's
but seriously,
you're
two
breaking up, Jose.
Muslims.
You're breaking up, Jose.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, shit. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh boy.
We can hear you, Jose.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Oh boy.
I think he cannot hear us.
Ugh.
Yeah, maybe there is
Hello?
a delay. Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
can hear
We're
I can
here.
hear
you.
you. I can hear you.
Yeah. Look, okay, to respond to what Panarique said,
Okay.
she's like, if you don't think that that will affect your son, then you need to really understand school to prison pipeline. Look, again, just because let's just get out of our emotions for a minute, right? Let's just take a breather, consume a TikTok,
Mhm.
and let's chill, breathe. No one's attacking people or disregarding what people have gone through. Okay, that's not what we're doing over here. What we're doing is trying to have a conversation about how to address problems that are real, which I believe white supremacy exists. I believe redlining exists. I believe the poor school system exists to create more workers and more criminals, that it will create productive Americans. I believe those things. Well, the purpose of these conversations is to actually have the conversation in order to put solutions out there to see what happens. So that we're not trying to just disregard what people are going through. What we're trying to make is people think out of the box. And when you do that, because America kills critical thinking by the same pipeline that you're talking about, because that's what happens in schools. How do I know that? Because that's the same school system we have in PR. I have 11 educators in my family. None of them have their kids in public school. I was not a kid in public school because my mom knows how the system works. So that's the same thing I'm going to give my child. I'd rather work extra to not have him in the public system. Why? Because I know these systems are real. I'm not saying that this is not real. What I'm saying is we need to start brainstorming how to cheat the system, and we need to start doing it in large numbers. And we can do that if we stop using the past as a justification for current events. We have to condemn the criminal class in both our communities, because again, this applies to Latinos the same way. I can copy paste the solutions from them to us. We need to condemn the criminal class, which is why I believe, yes, we need to build a wall. I know people will get upset, but we need to build a wall. I'm sorry. I mean, Ramon, you know I
No,
believe
no,
in this,
no,
Ramon.
no,
Yeah.
no. The world does not vanity project. That's not gonna help anything. The
I
majority of
know, I
people are come to
understand
the
that,
country.
but it's like a standard. You get my point? Like it's basically a message. We need to build a wall. Period. We need to get more border patrol down there. We need to secure the border. That is a known fact. People need to start migrating here in logical numbers because there's a lot of things that are coming into this country that are not pretty. And I don't think people are seeing that because Latinos are known here as toilet scrubbers or we're all gardeners and whatever, whatever. And we have a sombrero and we're like, sí, señor, everywhere we go. That's not what's coming through the border. And a lot of our collective got offended when Donald Trump said the same thing in 2016. Well, I supported him openly, and there was a lot of Latino friends that I have that do not talk to me today because I said the same thing. But we have to condemn the criminal class in our collective. Same thing is happening with the Black collective. And there's a lot of Black people that say we don't want to claim the low lives. I don't know why that's so hard, such a hard concept to grasp. Let them burn. You don't need them. They're making your life harder and difficult by damaging your image, putting your kids in danger, damaging your neighborhoods. Let the law take them. And I even said it like, I think it was on Rakim's stream when I said, youth as a risk for violence and homicide, committing homicide, I think we should, instead of letting them commit a murder in American soil, we should start training them for the military so we can put them to use and give them some kind of structure. Or even after they commit a murder, let's just do that. Because what are we going to do with them in prison? Let's just keep it real. Yeah, you see,
Slave
Gigi, agree with
labor.
me. We do need the. Yeah, Gigi, I agree with you. We need the freaking wall. I am so
Okay,
sorry.
again, the wall is symbolic. It is symbolic. It's not
But we
gonna.
need
It's
that
not really
symbol,
gonna change.
Ramon. We need that symbol.
Okay, billions of dollars along a 2,000-mile border just for
I
a
don't
symbol because that's all
look.
it's gonna be.
You know
That's all it's
what?
gonna be.
I have a solution for that problem. You know these people that are talking about student loan forgiveness? I will
Mhm.
forgive your student loan if you volunteer to build a wall. That's it. We build it. You see?
No,
Problem
no,
solved.
no.
That's
Okay,
it.
okay. No, no, it's just if you look into it, the logistics involved into building a wall that is so close to a
Um,
river that it doesn't make a lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense. It would have been done already. It's symbolic. The wall
No,
is it's symbolic. It's not gonna it's not practical. It's not
look,
practical.
build the
That's why
wall.
he has
uh,
Build.
okay,
um,
okay. That's right. That's
guys,
right.
I'm gonna make
But I'm
that
telling you
shirt.
why it
guys,
hasn't been
Build
done because
the
it's not
damn
practical.
wall.
guys,
What
Uh-huh.
Jose?
guys.
Yes.
I have a solution to global warming.
Uh,
Give
what?
me full climate control worldwide, and we will end global
No.
warming.
No, 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 no. I don't want to end up with hypothermia. No, no, no,
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Me neither.
no, no, no. I like
Jose,
my
let me
warm
ask you
weather.
something,
Oh, come
Jose.
on.
Are you pro wall or you're against the wall? You know,
You know, that's something I have to think about. But I'm, look, I think what would help if we hire more immigration judges to take care of the backlog and hire more people guarding the patrol.
would you
I mean, a
volunteer to
wall. I
would
mean,
Jose, would you volunteer to patrol the border like 5 hours a week?
maybe when I'm retired, yes.
Yeah, I would volunteer a few hours.
Okay.
You
But
know, and then I'll be
wouldn't it
like,
be
I'll let
better
you
if I
cross.
was
Look,
giving
I'll be
compliance?
Jose. I'll be like this. I'll let you cross and look the other way if you give me $1,000. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay, but that's cheap. I mean, the people that's already happening. What you described, that's already happening. But
Yeah.
they come in with like $3,000, $4,000, and they pay
Yeah.
it to somebody. and they let them through.
Yeah, that's what I said. We need
Those old
that
are a
it's gonna
pain.
sound
Mhm.
it's gonna sound a little bit, because I know the temperature we live in the US, everything you say it's racist, but we need non-Latinos securing the border. Because we're gonna be very sympathetic and we're gonna let them through. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We need non-Latinos. That's just, and we also need
Okay.
non-African Americans because they're also very sympathetic with our struggles. And they're gonna let the Latinos in.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
So
That means
unfortunately, that only leaves Asians and whites.
Yeah. Well.
okay.
As you say, everything you say
Sorry.
these days is racist. Well, Asians
Yeah.
might let the Asians through because
But the
there
Asians
is
don't come through
migration
the
from
That's
Asia.
that.
border. Asians don't come through the border though.
Well, maybe East Indians or maybe Middle Eastern that come up from the border. No.
No, they don't come from
Southeast
the border.
Asians,
Asians, no, Asians don't come
Southeast
from the
Asians
border.
do come to the country sometimes undocumented, but in different ways, maybe as stowaways on a ship or whatever.
Look at Gigi. Gigi said, "Let me get that student loan forgiveness. No working on the wall." Like, she don't. Gigi, you gotta work for it. Okay, you gotta give us something. Go put 5 cinder blocks on that wall, girl. Just 5.
Mhm.
You'll get your forgiveness. No, but seriously, there's a lot of things that people need to understand. It's
Mhm.
not us being bigoted, but the country needs to start putting America first before America collapses. America will collapse if we continue to
They're not
allow.
going to be putting America first anytime soon because
Yeah.
the so-called America is too busy sending all types of money and resources to Ukraine right
Mm-hmm.
now. And if it's not
Um,
Ukraine, then it's
guys,
the land formerly known.
let, let,
But okay, go on. Yeah.
let's welcome Gigi to the stream. Hello, Gigi.
Hey Jose, hey Boricua, hey Denise.
Hello.
Hey, Golden, what's going on,
So
chica?
you're not building the wall, Gigi?
Oh no, I just want the free money.
We all want the free money. We all could use a
We
couple
can
of
take it out of
dollars.
the Ukraine money, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're sending all kinds of money to the Ukraine, and watch later on if the war ends. When the war ends, we're gonna be paying for the reconstruction of the Ukraine. Watch, we're gonna
I
be
mean, we
paying for
all
that
know
too.
that realistically, if we were to invest all that money in stuff like that, it would help the country. But we
No.
got money for
Yeah,
wars, and we don't
and the
have
thing
money to
is,
feed the poor.
no,
Yeah, we did.
we don't have
Look.
money to help anybody here, but we have all kinds of money always for some type of war
Yeah, and
that
not
has
only
nothing to do with
that,
us.
20 billion will solve homelessness. 50 billion
Mm.
will give Flint, Michigan water back again so they don't have to have lead infested water, right?
Yeah, they
And
It's
have
then
worse now
flammable.
in Philadelphia and all these places. The water's effed up because they leaked a whole bunch of
Yeah,
crap.
in
It's like
Mississippi,
it's a big
Jackson.
problem right now.
yeah, not
I think
only
in Jackson,
that,
Mississippi, it's also a problem. The whole thing with the water.
not only that, the infrastructure here is not being invested in. On top of
Yeah.
that, the education system is not being invested in. On top of that, I said that isn't enough. Real estate is not incentivized as it should. There's a lot of issues in America right now that it's coming. Like even when we were discussing the education system, America for so long worked so much against Black Americans and poor whites and poor Latinos that what it created is a bunch of people that are workers and did not have that curiosity to venture into other things because of course they had limited resources, and sometimes when you're in the middle of a problem it's very hard to find a solution from the outside looking in. So what happens is that now the world is moving into automation, AI, and all these technologies, and unfortunately what's happening is that we don't have enough people to create all of the technology we're going to need before China. So we're also against the clock on that. And how do you get 3 to 4 generations of people that you decided to not train and you dismissed them because you wanted to keep and gatekeep the resources in only one specific group of people? How do you make the large lump of America wake up one day to start developing all of this technology so you can beat another nation that decided to train all of their people in this same technology that we're seeing today? That's almost impossible. And if we don't beat China, that will be the end. I'm
So do you guys
guaranteeing
think
you
that
that.
we're Babylon? Do you guys think that we're Babylon?
I think we're Rome.
Mm.
I believe we're the Roman Empire. And the center of it is New York, unfortunately. Oh, look at what
Well,
Irby
look,
said. He said the Cubans here in Florida is gonna be mad at you. Well, it sucks for them. They need to fight for their land. I'm sorry. Americans fought for them.
The
I'm
Cubans
sorry.
in Florida are Republican leaning, though, for sure.
But
Yeah,
still,
but what's that gonna solve for them? Okay, they coming to the country because of legislation that was passed back in the 1960s. The
Mhm.
whole thing about the Cuban Adjustment Act, and that's the whole
Wet
wet
foot,
feet,
dry
dry
foot.
feet.
Yeah.
And I think that has been that was ended during the Obama administration. Okay, they get here and they become Republicans, and that solves what for Cuba? Because they're not getting Cuba back. I mean,
Yeah. If
they're not
anything, they're
fighting to overthrow the
relinquishing
regime.
more. It's kind of people. Look, the problem that I said with my collective, I love talking about Latinos because our different histories all come down to the same thing, right? And this is the part when we have to humble ourselves and learn from Black people because they know how to cheat the system and how to fight the system. We don't. We know other things like family, passed down culture, and all the sentimentalisms that maybe Black Americans and white Americans don't have. But when it comes to America per se and the way America operates and how sinister it is, I think we need to learn from Black people about that. Because, yeah, the Republicans, which are the alt-right conservative party that's pro-America, right, is incentivizing Cubans to come here. That's the same type of mentality that's keeping Cuba under an American embargo. Okay, let's keep that real. So you're emptying Cuba, benefiting Cubans to abandon their land, okay? Their patrimonio. They're abandoning it, right, in large numbers and receiving incentives in America to do so. Who do you think is going to take over? Like, Cuba is only 90 miles away from Florida. America already owns Guantanamo. So you got to be very dumb to relinquish your land to the empire. And that's the same thing we're doing in Puerto Rico. It's the same thing.
yes.
Well, we're
No, but
Americans, so like,
they already
we need to
got.
take it all over. They need to be rolling with us. Period.
But they're not going to do that because if you, I don't know if you've been familiar with the streams that we do sometimes regarding Latinos and Black Americans Union. We have we have a whole group of people called the slow tips for a reason. They don't want to understand that we need to unite with people that knows the system because we don't know it and we're in a worse position. We're losing. We're free people with free land. And how do you explain that 78% of Latinos with land to develop cannot even try to feed themselves or plant something to create food? That makes no freaking sense. You get my point? So I'm like, we need to learn something from these people, just like they need to learn something from us, which is what the union works.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, let's try to steer back to the original topic. I mean, I'm glad we had all this discussion because it was very important. So, what do you think about some of the Gigi? What do you think about some of the mistakes that the baby boomers have made?
I didn't catch the beginning of the stream. What were the mistakes exactly?
No, well, no, a lot of okay. but basically, the whole point of the
It seems like
strain
the
was to,
generations are getting worse and worse. So what did they do? That
well, okay, in all fairness, part of why the generations are getting messed up is that unfortunately there have been baby boomers who did not do a good job um, passing their knowledge and their experiences to the younger generations and raising these people. Okay, we cannot expect, if we do a crappy job raising young people, we cannot expect them all of a sudden to be great.
so the baby boomers would be what, like my grandparents?
Actually, there are people. Okay, the baby boomers. Okay, I'm the only baby boomer here. They're the people that were born between 1946 and 1964. Or
Okay,
or
okay,
or
yeah.
Denise was said, I'm 10,000 years old.
Okay. Yeah, and like I was mentioning before, we have three generations of Puerto Ricans here because I'm a Gen Xer. So, and for some time, we were being kind of like the forgotten generation, but maybe we are responsible after all for the kind of like for the seniors. I mean, and
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was, yeah, after, because I
yeah,
mean
but
it's
some of
really
us,
bad now.
it's just that I couldn't fathom that my generation will forget that there are only two genders. I mean, because there are seniors that are so confused and they don't even know what gender they are. Something so basic, something that is fact based, that is biologically based. It's like, oh, gender is a social construct. I mean, there is an argument for when it comes to race, whether it is a social construct or not. To a degree, there could be an argument for that. That's one thing. But gender, I mean, come on, that's just biology. That's just biology. It's based in fact. I mean, you don't, one can have kind of like a gender dysphoria type of thing. This is something that I understand it can be treated via therapy, but that whole notion that you are these other terms, these new terms that they make up as alternative genders or non-conforming, when it irks me when I hear somebody talk about gender non-conforming, this and that and the third. I hate that. I hate that because that's when I get I get notified that they are clearly confused. They just need counseling. They just need counseling, somebody to talk to. I mean, I don't know
Well,
what kind of bubble that they grew up in that they don't know what gender freaking they are.
I think they just want attention.
just
Well, that
I'm
too,
just
because when they start throwing tantrums, loud tantrums, and they get disrespectful, yelling at other people because they use the wrong pronoun on them. I hate that because they're really trying to get attention. They're just being a nuisance. They're just being
Wow.
assholes.
And you know what's
I
crazy
don't
though?
respect that.
You know
I
what's
can't
crazy,
respect
Memo?
that.
oh,
Uh-huh.
What's crazy is that the gender dysphoria was taken out of the DSM, I
Mhm.
think a few years ago, in order to make these people not be in the DSM as a pathology. But gender dysphoria is a mental pathology. It used to
Yeah.
be dealt with like it was supposed to, like a mental, pathology, instead of
Yeah.
just telling teenagers to go and turn their sausage into a taco because
Mhm.
that's gonna make them feel better. Like I don't understand. I don't
Yeah,
understand
which is
how.
impulsive. Doing something like that is an impulse. That's something that is not being thought out, and institutions, systems are encouraging that young people that are still going barely through puberty go through these changes, even though that's something that they can grow out of later on, and then
They
they
got
regret it.
toddlers. They got toddlers going through this shit.
What?
That's criminal.
No,
That's
Gigi,
a crime.
is it true?
That's
Yeah,
criminal.
like I mean, you might well okay, still 4 or 5. Yeah, starting from toddlers though. I mean, not giving them hormones as a toddler, but starting from toddlers, yeah. In
You gotta be
California,
freaking
especially.
kidding
Um,
me. Yeah,
No,
and here
but
I will
California,
believe
guys,
California is going to shit. Denise,
this
you
is
should
a
get out of
circus.
there.
This is a circus. That's for sure.
Especially what,
guys,
San Francisco and
um,
this
excuse
is really messed up. Uh-huh.
excuse me. Imagine me as a municipal employee. I got to go through this diversity training, talking about how we need to be inclusive with everybody, including with people whose sexual identity is online. So technically, if someone wants to use the ladies' room, I have to say, well, the men's room
Mhm.
is over there. The ladies' room is over there. And over there is the gender neutral bathroom. Literally.
Uh,
But that's cool. That's fine. There should be those type of bathrooms. I mean, I don't have no problem with
I know,
that.
but it's
I have a problem with them having little 3 and 4-year-olds dressing up and playing the wrong gender.
No, did you
mhm.
saw? Do I have a problem even with teens, Gigi? Because I don't know if you guys saw Jordan B. Peterson interviewing uh the girl that he transitioned and how she explained that like she wanted to have a kid and now she doesn't
Mhm.
have a clue on how to do that. And I want people to understand, like, in order to transition a full blown boy to a
Mhm.
woman, what they start giving that boy is high doses of Lupron. Lupron is an artificial hormone designed specifically to boost progesterone and estrogen levels on a woman that's infertile or it's going through the process of IVF in
Mhm.
order to create the fake circumstances that will resemble a woman's, ovulation period in order for the implantation to occur.
Yeah.
And that's a very high dose of hormones for a woman per se. Imagine for a boy. And that's what we're giving boys, killing the testosterone production forever. That's what's
Yeah.
going on right now. And they're doing it because Big Pharma gets $75,000 per kid that wants
Mm.
to transition. That's why these laws are being passed.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that's the taxpayer paying for all of that too, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, not only
Yeah.
that, if you have, let's say, for example, you have a Kaiser Permanente and you pay for it,
Uh-huh.
Kaiser will pay 75K to Big Pharma.
Yeah.
And now they're bringing in Canada is even worse, and
that's
they're
great.
bringing those laws here. If your kid is 16 and they want to transition, they will be allowed to transition without your consent.
Without the parents' consent, even though they are still a
What?
minor.
Exactly.
Canada
Yeah.
Canada is assisting people with suicide. Like
Yes, but
Well,
they're doing that with
there is
the
the whole
elders
thing about
too.
euthanasia. There is euthanasia has been around for a long time, but I can
Yeah,
understand to a degree euthanasia in cases of somebody who is very sick
yeah.
and in constant pain, suffering, and
Or
there are
too
people that
old.
beg for
They're
it.
too
but
old.
They're
I
too
seen
old
I
and
seen
they're
people
too
on
sick and in
YouTube.
pain. That's one
I
thing.
heard I saw people on YouTube though that just had like whatever depression or illness and they're just like encouraging them just to take themselves out.
Okay, but
That's
those need
crazy.
counseling. It needs evaluation, counseling, psych evaluation, whatever it is called. That has to be done first before even considering such a thing. Now, euthanasia, like I said, one thing is for people that are very sick, they don't pass away, but they stay sick, and by law they can't be let go. So euthanasia, that's kind of like a legal gray area there because there are people that beg for it, that they don't have any possibility of recovering from whatever illness that they have. I mean, like my
I
own,
think that that should be an option though. Like if people should have the right to end their life if they want to.
because my own mom talked about it, and I told and I
They do
told
have
her,
the
no,
right to end their life, but they don't have
it's
the
like,
right to
mom,
be
mom, that's not an
assisted with it
option.
medically.
Come
Yeah,
again?
no, because when my mom she got really sick, and at some point, because she was in pain constantly, she did mention that she wanted euthanasia for herself, and I was like, mom,
No.
that's not an option, mom. That's not an option. But I understood that she was in a lot of
Yeah,
pain, and there are
yeah,
a lot of people that are sitting up in hospitals being kind of like pumped full of like pain relievers, but they're not gonna get any better, and
yeah,
that suffering for some cancer that is really eating them up inside, and that in misery, and they beg for it to be able to
yeah.
be put
That's what I
to
said. Like you should be entitled to end your own life. Like I don't have a problem with that. Like if you don't want to be here and you're like 27, it
Mhm.
sucks that you don't want to give it a try, but it's your life, and it's better to have that than to have you jump off a bridge or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it sucks though.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to take stage. If people want, we can do it briefly. So I'm going to start to take start with a senor frio that wants to go skiing in shorts in Alaska, who
No,
wants to go to Times Square to drop the ball drop wearing shorts and chancletas, who wants to go
no,
skinny dipping in Noche Beach in the middle of winter, the introvert Boricua.
I don't want to go to no Chocha Beach. And
Jojo
then
Beats.
being no, being in that on that call. Oh, what happened with Gigi? Oh, she dropped us. Um,
I guess,
no,
well,
but Don Jose, no, stop with the cold talk. We're barely out of winter. The spring is barely started, and you want us to be you want us to be cold again. I mean, I can't believe you. I can't deal with you when it comes to that. But first off, of course.
Jose's gonna start his own movement. Instead of MAGA, it's gonna be MACA. Make America cold again. And
Yes,
it's gonna be
yes,
blue. It's gonna be blue, the hat.
yeah, yeah. We're kind of like microscopic snow designs and things like that. That's gonna be
Yeah.
the movement. Yeah, Don. Yeah, but Don Jose, I appreciate you letting me be on up on the panel. I couldn't catch the stream from the very beginning, but still, yeah, yeah. I don't pass judgment like that on your generation. You did go through a lot of changes. You did saw a lot of kind of like really radical social changes, and maybe to some people they come out okay out of it. Other people may have come out messed up for whatever reason. What it represented, what the '60s, dealing with the disaster that was Vietnam, that those are still we're still seeing parallels to that today because of other disastrous wars that are not resolving anything. But still, could there be some things that the boomer generation could have done better? Of course, all of our generations could do better, and the following generations they seem to be getting worse and worse, and it kind of reflects on us, the older peoples, that maybe we didn't pass along values or structure the way we should have, and all that we could do is for us older that are a little older, that we can mentor, that we can try to make things right as much as we can. But aside from that, I guess that's all I could tell you. That's all I can tell you about that. And with that say, I appreciate you letting me be on the panel. And shout out to the panel. Shout out to you, Jose and Denise. And you guys have a good one. I'm
Thank
gonna be
you,
stepping out.
Ramon.
All right.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in the backstage. If you're able to stay, stay. If not, I understand because we've been doing this for almost 3 hours. Okay. So now I'm going to take final remarks from Miss Parkchester, who wants to get on the subway and wants to go to Coney Island in the middle of winter. Denisse Gonzales.
Oh Lord. Okay, Santa Claus. I don't want to do none of that. I am good. First of all, like I said earlier, thank you for allowing me on your panel. I know I started with a rocky beginning because I was taking care of my son, of course. But I would say that I think, look, baby boomers did drop the ball. Like, we have to just put it out there, right? Uh, they dropped the ball, and it wasn't because it wasn't on mild things or stuff that they did. Of course, we all make mistakes. It's in the fact that they abandon or walk away from values that were going to be needed 100% in times like now. So they were great people that created hard times for us. So, but what I don't think, and it's something that I'm seeing very often, that we should use that as an excuse to whine and not assume responsibility. Yes, they messed us up by not passing down the wisdom we needed, but it's our responsibility to go get it. Now we know we didn't got it, right? So there's no more excuses as to, oh, the baby boomers did this, the Gen X did that, and no, okay, fine. They didn't do those things. Either they're with us or they're not with us. Okay, that's up to them. So now our job is to go find the things
Mm-hmm.
that they did not pass down. If they want to admit that and be part of the change and the solution, great. If they don't want to be part of the solution, great too. It's their prerogative. They're older people right now. They probably just want to travel, and you figure it out. So, but I think that, yes, I love what Ramon said about the mentoring. I think that's a great way to kind of like rescue society, but they're not obligated to. So as a millennial, I would say, uh, acknowledge, have the conversation with your parents or your grandparents. I don't know where you stand on the millennial odometer, right? I was the daughter of baby boomers because I'm on the older spectrum of millennials. Um, have the conversation with your parents, forgive your parents, understand that they didn't do this with malice, and start doing things for yourself and start looking for the answers that you don't have. Fix your life, and like I said earlier, unfuck yourself. You owe it to yourself, and no one's gonna feel sorry
Okay.
for you if you don't do it. So I'm sorry for my French. But once again, Jose, thank you very much for having me. Thank you for allowing me on your panel. I still think, what I was going to say, I forgot. I'm sorry, postpartum brain. Anyway, um, Saturday, like I said, I'm going to have the discussion regarding this whole drama that we've been seeing lately, how it's boiling over and over and over. Trolls and
Mm-hmm.
detractors are welcome. I'm not gonna put like a restraint on who can troll or be there, whatever. Um, so I expect you to be there, Jose. If you cannot, I understand because I know you're doing overtime. But other than that, thank you very much for having me. I hope this is not the last one. Let me know on the stream that you want to do about the Victim Olympics, and I will try to be there. Okay, so take care very much.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, to the person that does appearing in the backstage, I need you to come up, please. Okay.
They disappear.
I'm sorry. It's just that, no, it's a friend Tanamando.
Okay. Oh Lord. Anyway, I'm
Um,
gonna head out, Jose, because I have to take
yeah, it
care
was
of
nice
my
talk. It was nice seeing you, Denise.
Okay, take care, Don Armando. I hope to
All
see you
right,
Saturday too, okay? Take
all
care.
right.
Okay, bye bye.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So
I, I, I,
I'll DM you during the weekend.
all right.
Take care.
Well, this was me personally. I'm just saying that all of our generations is messed up. Especially, I'm just saying because I'm just gonna keep it short because I know you might have to work and everything. So my thing is that I think all of us messed up, and sad to say, I think my generation messed up in teaching the younger crowd on how not to use drugs or something like that because I'm seeing a lot of people and people that I've held dear pass away due
Mhm.
to substance abuse or whatsoever. And there's a case that I don't even know what happened, and I just know that I just lost one guy that I actually considered a brother. So with that said, there's a lot of stuff that a lot of the generations messed up on, not just the
Yeah.
baby boomers.
Well, look, the whole point of the stream is just to put it out there. You know, we made some mistakes, but let's go forward. Let's try to do better, particularly do better for the younger generations because um, we need each other. Okay,
Yep.
we need to give good examples for the younger generations to follow, and the younger generation need us to provide our knowledge and our experiences in a way that's not condescending.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have another
So
stream tonight because I was busy with my stream. It actually got interesting, so it was a good
yeah.
stream that I think ran almost 3 hours. So
Well, this stream when it's almost 3 hours long, and I actually gained 3 subs tonight.
yeah, yeah, the same with me because I think I gained two because it's funny because I was at 243 and I checked and now I'm to at 245. So
Okay. Well,
and and the
I'm
thing
at
is
I'm at
though,
220.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is my thing. I mean, I pray that that both of us when the year end is out that we get to 1K. You know what I'm saying? You too, Don Jose. So I'm
Hmm.
gonna try. So if you have another stream or anything like that, I'll even try to put it in the Parkchester group. So therefore,
Okay,
they
I would
could support
appreciate
you
it.
too anytime.
Yeah, I would appreciate it. I'm going to be doing one on Thursday. I don't know what's going to be the topic, but I will, create it and I'll, send the usual notifications. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we
Tomorrow I'm gonna have. It's gonna be a debate. I'm not gonna be the one debating. What's debate? What it's gonna be is gonna be between Hebrew Lion and Johnny Appleseed. So I'm gonna host that tomorrow.
okay. Interesting.
So I'm gonna put it on my community tab when I make the chat and everything like that. So
Hmm.
let's
Okay.
get to work.
All right.
And with that said, my closing statement
Yes.
is
So do you have any final?
yeah, my closing statement is that
Go
we need
ahead.
to learn because if we don't learn from our mistakes, the younger generation is going to repeat our mistakes, and then we'll be at a loss.
Hmm. Okay. Well, thank you very much for stopping by. I will try. Okay, I will try to catch your stream live, and thank you very much. Um, I just want to make this specifically clear. Anyone wants to share the stream, by all means do so because it's meant to be educational and in my opinion, I think it was a productive stream, and just want to make sure that it gets shared and people get some knowledge on it. Now, thank you very much, Don Armando. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my final thoughts. As I stated from the beginning, the whole purpose of the stream was not to badmouth my generation, the baby boomers. It's basically to acknowledge where we could have done better and how we can do better. And it starts by, okay, you admit what you did wrong, and you learn it, and you treat it as a learning experience. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to everyone up here on the panel. My cyber daughter, my other cyber daughter, Gigi, Don Armando, and the intro Puerto Rico, and a huge shout out to everyone on the chat. I'm going to be doing another stream Thursday. I do not know what's going to be the topic. I will post it. I'll probably do a short video tomorrow around lunchtime just to share what's going to be the topic. And of course, I will send the link to the usual people. And then those who are able to watch it live, watch it live. Those who will catch it on the playback, will catch it on the playback. And I just want to say thank you very much, because all of you made it possible for this stream to be productive. I cannot do it by myself, and I really appreciate all the love and support that you have given me. So that being said, I'm going to close simply by simply stating, let's be good to each other, and yet let's learn from each other, because there are many things that we can teach each other if we are humble enough and get off our high horses and learn. So that being said, this has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron, and I wish all of you a very good night. Take care and peace.
Strong.